Michael, Larian Studios CEO says next game might not come until 2029. Mike Straw over at Insider Gaming. The next game from Larian Studios could be at least 4 to 5 years away. When speaking during this SEA Game Awards, Larian Studios CEO Swen Vincke said that the next game from the company should be expected sometime in 2028 or 2029. He then said afterwards that people shouldn't hold them to the timeline or date. No kidding. Quote, "I knew you'd pick up on that. It was just a joke," end quote, he told IGN after accepting the Special Recognition Award at the event. Quote, "I don't know. We'll release it when it's ready. They're big games and it takes time. So don't hold us to a date," end quote. As far as what the next game will be, that's up in the air. It's known that Larian Studios isn't working on another Baldur's Gate title after completing work on the Baldur's Gate 3. That said, the studio is working on multiple games right now. At least one of those games will be a brand new IP from the company. Quote, "As an independent studio since 1996, we value the freedom to follow our creativity wherever it leads," end quote, they said at the time. The studio has said that it is leaving Dungeons & Dragons entirely. However, it is still currently providing support for Baldur's Gate 3 via a small team within the company. Michael, very interesting after the huge success of Baldur's Gate 3 just to go, we're out.
I mean, I like that though sometimes, right? There's several franchises, you and I could probably name them for the next 30 minutes of, hey, this series was great, but you just kept trying to go back to that well, and you never branched out. Yeah, I mean, again, we can name these forever. So I appreciate that they're saying, look, we love Baldur's Gate 3. People still enjoy it. We'll give it support. We're going somewhere else. But I can respect the timeline, right? We talk about all the time. Feels like sometimes games are rushed. They're just like, look, we're going to do our own thing. We're an independent studio. We can do whatever the heck we want. I appreciate it. I think they make great games. I'm a little sad we're stuck in a 4 to 5 year time window of nothingness, but some occasional Baldur's Gate 3 updates. But I respect the honesty, and I accept that, hey, they're not going to go back to Baldur's Gate 3. I like that game. If they had a Baldur's Gate 4, would I be as engaged? Probably not. It's one of those genres I don't think I would see myself playing a ton more of. So I like what their head is, and I'm curious what they've got, because they haven't missed in a while, Drew, and that's one of the few studios that can say that recently.
Yeah, absolutely. Larry definitely, hit on a high when it came off of Baldur's Gate 3, Game of the Year over the Game Awards, right? So everybody loved that game. I played it in early access on Stadia. That was it for me. Yeah, I know. There's a callback, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, rest in peace to the Stadia device, man. I tell you. Google, what are you doing? Yeah, actually had something. They had no studios is the problem. But either way, that's neither here nor there. It is exciting to see Larian Studios go, hey, you know what? We're just going to work on our thing here, and when we're done, you'll see it. And that's the way it should be, ultimately. But yeah, a lot of it's sort of like, okay, coming off of such a high, you can't expect another game next year or 2 years from now. That's just not going to happen. It took them years to get Baldur's Gate 3 to the state it was. And when it came out, dude, everybody loved it, right? Like, that's the thing. Everybody fell in love with it. It was just one of those games that everybody was talking about it when it launched. It was so cool. However, not my kind of game per se, but I did get into it. The turn-based dungeon rolling dice thing is not really for me. So I watched from afar. But the stories that came out of that game, man, absolutely incredible. Right? My brother, not a fan of that genre either, dives into it. He bought the game. I was like, what are you doing? He goes, friends of mine wanted to play because it had co-op. Michael, again, co-op, right? That's such a huge selling feature these days to have that. So he's in there and he's playing with them and he's having a blast. He drew the story of this thing. I'm like, I know. I keep hearing about it, right? That's just one of those. I know. But their games take time. There's so much dialogue in that game. Just the writing alone takes years.
Yep.
So for them to flesh out another perfect game like they did with Baldur's Gate 3, they call the time you need. Like, you made an absolute ton of money, one award after another. Can they do that for the next one? If they rush it out in 2-3 years? No, that doesn't happen, right? That doesn't happen at all. So, yeah, we'll just sit back and wait. But 2029, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's 2030.